you? I'm really happy you've come to spend a little bit of time with me again today. If you're a regular here, you'll know that this little place of mine in YouTube world is mostly to do with me being creative, making things out of yarn usually, knitting, crochet, but also other crafts as well. I like to have a go at new things sometimes as well. And since starting doing these podcasts, I've realised that being creative and producing things is more than simply just the objects that you're in the process of making or your finished objects, but that everything that you make has some kind of a story or a background to it. So it might be as simple as you're making it for someone in particular, for a particular reason, or it might have a deeper connection than that. And it's only really since I started sitting down and having a bit of a chat and a think out loud that I realised that, lots of the stuff that I make has got a story, connection maybe to my past. So today's episode is all about birds. Mostly about birds that are created out of yarn. But also I thought I might as well combine it with real birds as well. So you'll see some video clips of my garden and how I look after the birds there. But also that I'll show you some birds that have been created by others or by myself, and just have a bit of a chat about them. So settle in. Maybe you've got a cup of tea, maybe you've got something to do with your hands, or maybe you're just going to sit and relax and watch and listen to my music as well. That's another thing I love doing when I make these podcasts is quite often create my own music to use as a background. It's really interesting. I'm just really exploring that. I'm not experienced at improvising or creating my own music, and it's just a new thing that I'm really enjoying. So I hope you're really going to enjoy today. Well, I think my association with birds really began when I was a little girl, and I quite often used to be taken out for the day at the weekend by my grandma and granddad, and they were great bird watchers. And I associate those times as being really, really happy. And I think that maybe is a big factor in why I'm kind of drawn to birds now. Unfortunately, I didn't really pick up good knowledge of birds from those trips. I used to just like being out, being with my grandma and granddad. But it's definitely made me feel drawn towards birds, I think. And over the years, I have been interested in birds, but not really so much that I've made a big effort to find out what the birds are that I see when I'm out. Sometimes I do carry a bird book and try and identify things, but not really seriously into it. And I think it was only really at the beginning of this year that I started to be a bit more serious about it. Back in January, I decided to do the big garden bird watch, and which involved spending an hour over a particular weekend recording the birds that come into your garden. So I was there, I printed off my tick list with all the birds in and, all the names and everything. And you just had to record how many birds of a particular kind you could see at one time, so that you weren't just counting the same bird over and over again. So if you saw three blue tits together, for example, then you just had to record it as 3. But if there turned out to be actually a group of 4 came in, then you would just add an extra one and say you'd seen 4. So I sat down with great hope with my list there and my pen. Well, do you know what? In the whole hour, not one bird came into my garden. Can you believe it? Not one bird. I was very sad with my bit of empty paper. I still reported it to online, where you had to where you had to say how many birds you'd seen, and I just had to put 0 after all the birds. That was a bit of a fail, wasn't it? But I actually decided to do something about it, because at that point, when I was watching my garden for birds, I didn't have any bird feeders or anything. I think I have got quite a lot of different shrubs and plants that attract birds. So it's not that I've never seen birds in the garden. But anyway, I decided to do something, take some action, so that I could attract some more birds. And I bought a couple of bird seed feeders and some bird food and started feeding the birds. And of course, no surprise really, loads of birds started to come to visit the garden. And so I started then making an effort to identify every bird that came into the garden. Some I did already know. Obviously, I did already know what a blackbird was and a robin and a blue tit, but maybe after that, a lot of the birds were I was a bit vague about. Anyway, so I had a book, and I keep a bullet journal with all manner of things in, and that's a future podcast. I think I might show you around my bullet journal. But I did start. I bought. Oh yes, I also bought myself a children's sticker book of birds. I think it was the Usborne Book of Birds, with stickers in. And I thought, every time I see a bird, I'm going to stick it in my bullet journal rather than in the sticker book. And so this is what I did in my bullet journal. See, birds spotted in my garden. And then other birds that I'd seen when I was out and about on my walks. So occasionally I didn't have a sticker for the bird. It just wasn't in the children's sticker book, so I had to then find out how to draw. I'm not great at drawing, but so some of those are drawings of mine anyway. Yeah. So I really, really loved watching the birds in the garden and looking out for them when I go out for my walks. So I kept up the feeding, and I gave the birds a bit of a break over the summer, because there was just plenty of stuff about for them to eat, loads of berries and things. But just recently I decided it was time to put the bird feeders out again. So I'm going to show you a few little video clips of me cleaning up all of the feeders ready for the new season, and hanging them out in the garden. And then 1 or 2 videos of birds that have visited. I mean, they're not great. I'm not a brilliant photographer. I did borrow my husband's telephoto lens, so I could get a bit closer up to the birds. But that's something I'm going to keep practicing doing anyway. So this is what we've got for today. Right, well, now on to some birds that are not live birds, but ones that have been created. First of all, hopefully I'm going to show you, while I'm busy chatting, a lovely picture that's on my wall in my living room of a felted bird. Really beautiful that is, isn't it? And also I've got some shelves which have just got ornaments of birds on, and not all made of the same things, with quite a variety of styles. you can see here, I hope. And then I'm just going to show you a couple of things which, if you watched my craft room tour, you will have already had a little preview of these birds. But first of all, this one is gorgeous little blue tit, which has been needle felted by a very clever person. Isn't it lovely? Really like that. And I don't think the person who made this is making them anymore, not selling them, not that I can find anymore. Otherwise, I think I definitely would buy some more. And then another one that I bought, actually, and it is this lovely, again, it's a needle felted bird with an absolutely gorgeous nest. I so love that nest. Isn't that lovely? It looks really quite realistic and cosy for this little bird. I bought this at a craft shop in York, where my daughter went to university, and she took me to this craft shop one day knowing that I would love the things in it, and I just couldn't come away without this lovely little bird here. So that's really lovely. And then I said I was going to show you some of the birds that I've made myself. I don't think I've ever actually designed any myself. I haven't got into design very much yet, maybe. New thing to do. But actually, when I had a look around my craft room and around the house in general, there's not that many birds that I've made here, because I think mostly I've made them and given them to other people. So I haven't actually got lots to show you, but I've got this tiny little one here, which is actually a crochet bird. That's probably one of the more recent birds that I've made, which is from this book. I'll just pick it up off here. It's from this book here, Crocheted Wreaths and Garlands. And so I think they're lovely little birds in there. So there's that one there. And I have made quite a few of those and given them away. And this one here, I just made this summer, which is this. Oops, they don't do too well just hanging free. But yeah, so this Robers, this was designed by Jem Weston, and I will put the details of this book in the description below. But they're lovely, aren't they? Really cute. In fact, actually, this is not true to Jem Weston's design, because she didn't put eyes on the birds, but I made them and I just really felt like I wanted them to have eyes. So, and I had fun choosing a lovely branch when I was on one of my walks. So I like this one because of the lichen on it. You can see that there, if it'll focus. Okay, so that hangs up in the conservatory now anyway. That's very lovely. Okay then, and I think the book that really got me going on knitting lots of birds was this one, Knit and Purl Pets. And this has got a gorgeous little bird in here. So there we go. And it's knitted on double pointed needles, that pattern. And I think it's not simple. It's probably not suitable for a beginner, but if you're used to double pointed needles, I don't really think it's that hard to do. And I've knitted absolutely loads of those in all colours, and sometimes I've used leftover sock yarn and it makes a lovely stripy bird. Yeah, I've just used all colours and, you know, done different things with the wings, and because you can sew fabric on the breast and on the wings. Just there's all sorts of things you can do with that. So yeah, I love those from Knit and Purl Pets. I'll put the details of this in the description below. That one there. I also love knitting tiny things, and there's a whole series of mini knitted things, and this one, Mini Knitted Woodland, has got a whole series of tiny birds. I'll hopefully just show you the pictures there, not the patterns. Some ducks there, but I think my favourite that I've knitted, and I've knitted quite a few out of this book and given away as presents. My nieces are particularly partial to this book and choosing things from it. As I knitted these tiny, teeny tiny blue tits and blackbirds. I think they were so nice. And so yes, I love that book. And another book that I have, which I've had for quite a while and haven't until recently made anything from it, and that's this book here, A Bird in the Hand. It's called, by Sue Stratford. Where does it have her name? Oh yeah, there. And this was a book that she wanted to print and sort of put out an appeal, really. Did a crowdfunding type of thing, and so if you donated so much, you would get a copy of the book, and everybody who donated a certain amount got their name put in the back of the book as being a person who helped this book to come to print. And so my name is in there. Don't know if I can find it very easily. I think it's not even actually in alphabetical order. Anyway, my name is one of those names there. But it is really a lovely book. But well, one problem was I mislaid it. I'd actually forgotten that it was so thin. And yeah, so when I was looking at it from my bookshelf, I just couldn't see it. In fact, it doesn't say on the spine what it is. No. Okay, but more recently, Sue Stratford has brought out a bigger version of that book, added some more birds and other patterns in there. So it's called Knitted Aviary, and I have just been making some of these birds. It's really lovely. I've been making, I'm busy making the blackbird, and well, I'll show you actually. The bits are in here, so they're ready for me to sew together. So I think you'll be able to easily guess which bird this one is going to be. Yeah, obviously it's a robin, and I'm going to use that robin for a Christmassy project, which you will see sometime in December. I'll show you that. And here's another one, which I'm sure you'll be able to guess easily what it is, even though it's not stitched together. You can see that's oops, colour's not great, is it, because of the light? It's got very bright outside since I started doing this. So yes, that's going to be a blue tit. Got his little wings and things all ready to sew together. And then I'm busy making, yeah, it's a blackbird, that one. So and yeah, I'm going to sew them together now and show you me sewing them together. Well, there we go. It's time for me to go again. I have really enjoyed your company today, and if you haven't already done so, you might like to subscribe or click on the thumbs up if you liked it. That would be really nice. And I will be back again soon. I am at the moment attempting to do podcasts every Monday, so you can see them every Monday, although that's only to the end of November, and then I'll be, well, fingers crossed, doing a daily one through December the 1st to the 24th. So until I see you again, stay safe, keep busy, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.